Hey folks, happy Friday. Hope you've had a nice week so far. Welcome to Forecasting Space, the weekly show with me, your host, Chase Wilson, where we take a look at all things space from upcoming launches from the U.S. over the next 7 days and interesting space news that has happened recently. First things first, as usual, let's take a look at what launches we have to look forward to over the next week. In just a matter of hours at 6:45 p.m. Central Time, Jake 4 from Rocket Lab will launch from Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. This is actually a suborbital launch, likely a hypersonic test vehicle or something that doesn't necessitate going to orbit. Not much is known about this launch. As we head into tomorrow, Saturday, July 12th at 11:31 p.m., we also have Dror 1, which is actually a commercial geostationary transfer satellite. It's going very, very far out. That's the better part of 30,000 miles away. This will be again at 11:31 p.m. Saturday on a Falcon 9 launch from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. First stage will be landing on Just Read the Instructions on Sunday at 9:27 p.m., just about a little less than 24 hours later. We got a Starlink launch launching out there from Vandenberg Space Force Station. So we have both coasts lighting up here. That's going to be at 9:27 p.m. Starlink Group 15-2. As we head out towards Wednesday, later into the work week, we also have Project Kuiper launching on a Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. This is one of the initial launches of the mega constellation of satellites, very similar to Starlink. That's going to be Wednesday at 1:10 a.m. Interesting thing about Project Kuiper, that is run as a subsidiary of Amazon. Of course, Amazon is run by Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos owns Blue Origin, so we're actually seeing a cross-pollination of rocketry and space sectors here. Of course, Blue Origin is another launch provider with their New Shepard, New Glenn rockets, so to see Project Kuiper launching on a Falcon 9, it's pretty interesting, if you ask me. Finally, over the next week, we have Starlink Group 17-3 on 9:08 p.m. Wednesday, July 16th. So we have an active Wednesday there with 2 launches from Cape Canaveral and Vandenberg both days. So both West and East Coast will be lighting up here over the next week. As for the next 7 days, that is it for launches from the U.S. Well, the last couple of weeks have been interesting in the space news front, from the Vera Rubin Space Telescope finally going on, detecting many comets and asteroids. But speaking of comets and asteroids, we have an interstellar visitor in the solar system. It's true, we have a mystery interstellar object currently in the solar system known as 3I Atlas, and it might actually be 3 billion years older than our own solar system. That might put it up to 7 billion years old. Of course, the solar system is about 4.6 to 5 billion years old, so everything within our system has to be that age or younger. But this thing, first of all, it is moving fast and blazing through the solar system. This trajectory shows that it is not from the solar system, so that alone is remarkable. But recently, some astronomers have been doing surveys using the Atlas Survey Telescope in Chile. In fact, that's where it was discovered on the 1st of July 2025, and it's really only visible with very large telescopes, and it's about the distance of Jupiter from Earth. And since then, the astronomers around the world have been racing to identify its path, trying to find out exactly where it came from and exactly where it's going. Most astronomers believe it came from the thick disk, the so-called thick disk of the Milky Way. This is a group of ancient stars that orbit above and below the area where the sun and most stars are located. So it actually came from the middle regions, the suburbs, if you will, of the Milky Way. Now, this being a comet, this could create a glowing tail, which would be very useful for astronomers because we can do radiometric analysis on the actual constituent particles of this tail. Now, we've had interstellar comets before, which we did kind of have some investigatory ability on. For example, we had some asteroid called Oumuamua just a couple of years ago, really actually a few years ago now. That was also an interstellar object, kind of shaped like, a lot of people said, a cigar, right? We have some very interesting things coming through, but this one, it's actually going to be from a part of a galaxy we've never seen up close before. So this could be a very, very telling object into exactly the makeup of other portions of the galaxy that, of course, we cannot reach with current technology. So very exciting news here. And by the way, it's nowhere near Earth. It's not going to get anywhere near Earth. So if you hear any hype news articles about an interstellar comet coming our way, don't worry about it. We will be just fine. Well, that concludes this episode of Forecasting Space. Thanks for joining me this week, and tune in next week, and we'll have the latest.